Hey, I'm Kevin, the student pastor at Shorewood Church again. Thanks for listening to our message. We strive each week to bring you relevant, practical, biblical teaching that meets you where you are. To find out more about us or what's going on at the church, head on over to scog.com or download the app. Hope you enjoy the message.
Parenting. Yes, the videos every week are going to make you cry, so go ahead and bring Kleenexes. Be ready for that. It's just a phase, so don't miss it. It's just a phase, so don't miss it. We have any empty nest moms in the house? Raise your hand. Got a few in here. If you want to know that it's just a phase and you don't want to miss it, the people who are crying the hardest are the moms who have empty nests, okay? Because it goes by really fast. I'm getting to see this. I'm like half grandparent right now because there's so much space in between my oldest and my youngest. We have an 8-year difference, and that 8 years gave me enough time to go, oh man, did I mess that one up, right? It gave me enough time to go, oh, that was just a phase, and I totally missed it. And I come to Kelly all anxiety driven and, oh, this is terrible, Daddy. She's like, shut up. This is our spiritual conversations in our home. And it's because it's like, oh, I just see it. I see, I can do better with this one. I can do better with this one. Which the Lord just gave me the 2 trial runs with Bowen and Kendall because I'm going to need all the knowledge I gained to deal with Lucy. So it just is what it is. But there's this inherent spiritual battle that I go through. As soon as I start to say the words, it's just a phase, don't miss it. Because it's just a phase brings me so much hope. This too shall pass, right? This will be over. It will be okay. The terrible 2s will go away. But then there's the terrible 3s, right? This too, it's just a phase. It'll pass. It's just a phase. It'll pass. That's nice. But to turn that on its head is don't miss it. You're like, oh no. That might strike you right here because you get so busy. I remember with the twins just trying to survive. And the party I threw, because we could afford a party, when they got out of diapers. That was a happy dance day because this is 2 of them at a time. And it's like just throwing money to Pampers. There you go. And that whole feeling, it's just a phase, except you're so worried just about get through this life moment that you don't get to cherish babyness or toddlerness or whatever that is. The same thing happens in middle school. The same thing happens in high school. The temptation is always there. We're just going to grin and bear it. We're just going to get through this. And we miss the beautiful opportunities that are there. I don't come to you speaking on parenting trying to feel like an expert. I'm an expert on raising high schoolers. Do you know why I'm an expert in raising high schoolers? I never had one yet. All right? So with humility, I come to you. This is what I've been reading and researching and my best guesses on a lot of things. All right? So if you go, well, that's not going to hold up here in 4 years, Jared. That's okay. Let's just keep on trying, okay? We've got a long time of object lessons with Bowen and Kendall and Lucy. So you're going to be hearing about my successes and failures for a long, long time. That's how this will go. So today we're going to talk about... we're going to center really more on toddlers. So each week we're going to kind of phase into a group. We're going to talk about the same 3 questions. Who I am, who is God, or who's got the authority, who am I really, and do I have what it takes with the character questions. We're going to really kind of focus in on these 3 things over and over and over and over and over again. In different ways and different stages of life so that we can start to understand and get how do I apply this to the different areas of my life. Now, some of you kids who are in here today, you're going to hear me speaking like, yeah, that's how my parents screwed up. Right? It's real easy. That's how my parents blew that one. Yeah, here's the deal. Whether you like it or not, you're going to be just like your parents. and you will speak. And you're like, ah, my dad just came out. Like, where? I'm in Georgia. He's in Indiana. How did that happen? Like, it's like, oh, let's back that train up. Let's stop that right there. That's just going to happen. So you can learn some stuff from this as well, all right? So let's get into it. Turning your Bibles to Deuteronomy 6, 4 through 9. This series is called It's Just a Phase, Don't Miss It, because we want to be strategically intentional about parenting. We want to be intentional about parenting. We're really going at it at the avenue of spiritual formation. So what does it take to be a parent and spiritually form your children? Now, I know some of you are going, I don't care really about the spiritual formation, Jared. I want them to quit being a lunatic. Right? I got that. However, I believe the spiritual formation of our child sets the foundation in which we can operate the rest of our behavioral issues, our emotional issues, all the other stuff. If we can lay a firm and wonderful, deep foundation of spiritual formation, pointing them to God in a healthy manner, a lot of those other things are going to take care of themselves. And that starts as young as it possibly can. Okay? Now, with spiritual formation, here's the deal. Some of us, it's very easy to delegate spiritual formation to the church. I come to church once a month, and I give you my kid for an hour. They're spiritually good. Well, let's think about that. If you come to church one time a month, every year, you gave me 12 hours. We have the best children's ministry on the planet. At our little church in Shorewood, Illinois, we have the best children's ministry. We got stinking rock stars in this place. You guys don't know how awesome it is. But yeah, if you volunteered back there, you know how great it is. We have rock stars running the children's ministry here at the church. We are blessed. They cannot be responsible for the spiritual formation of your child with 12 hours, or best case scenario, 52 hours in a year. It can't. Your kid plays Fortnite 52 hours in 2 weeks. Your toddler plays on a tablet 52 hours in 2 weeks. What's going to win? I started doing division. You know I'm getting passionate about a message if Jared's doing math. Right? That'll preach right there. Okay. Surprised my dad didn't give me an amen on that one. So that is how it is, right? So let's think about that. If spiritual formation is the foundation in which we operate all of our parenting decisions, how we help into the behavior, how we help in their emotional, and how we, even their career successes, how we help them and how they're going to be in their marriages, how they're going to raise children, and we say, they can get 12 hours a week for that foundation. That doesn't work. If you watch houses, I love to see, when we did the remodeling downstairs, okay, we tore everything out, and we tore more stuff out. And my job, because they didn't trust me with tools yet, was to rip screws out of the ceiling. And so for like 6 weeks, with a crowbar, and I'm taller than everybody else, so I was like, that's all he did. They get to run electrical cable, and they're doing all kinds of fun stuff and shocking themselves, Paul, and doing all kinds of other stuff, and I'm going, so yeah, that's what I did for all these times. Why? Because I was doing foundational work. It was boring. It was hard. I'd come home with a crick in my neck. It was dumb. I didn't like doing it. I wanted to do something fun. I wanted to paint something. I wanted to create something. I wanted to make it pretty. But guess what? If I would have done the work, the ceiling would have been all nasty. Somebody would have gotten tetanus on their head. You know, all kinds of different stuff would have happened. That's important stuff. It took forever. I'd come down, Kelly, come see the basement. Come see the basement. This true story really happened. We are working so hard at it. Kelly, come see the basement. She comes downstairs. What'd you do? She's like, honey, I love you. This is true conversation happened. First year we were here. I love you, honey, but don't take me in the basement until I could see something that actually happened. So I was like, you're not going to get to see it ever again. Because the foundation work's not fun. It's not pretty. You know, a real construction worker, like, look at that foundation. That concrete slab is poured perfectly, right? That's somebody who knows, like, the foundation is really, really important. So when we look at our spiritual formation of our children, yeah, this isn't like the flashy stuff. Oh, my kid got a perfect score on the SAT, or that look at them do this, or look at them do that. It's the foundational work that really dictates other things in their lives for many, many, many years to come. We're called to this spiritual formation life in Deuteronomy 6, 4 through 9, one of the most important passages in the whole of the Bible. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your strength. These commandments that I give you today are to be on your hearts. And here it is, verse 7. Impress them on your children. Talk about it when you sit at home and when you walk on the road, when you lie down and when you get up. Tie them as symbols on your hands and bind them on your foreheads. Write them on your doorframes of your houses and on your gates. Does that say that for 12 hours a year we should do spiritual things and delegate it to the church? Did he say the rabbi is going to teach them? The priest will do it. Go do the sacrifices. He says, no. Impress them on your children. This is your job. Now here, the beautiful thing at Shorewood Church of God is if you bring a child into this place, we're all on your team. We're all on your team. You just got, some of you might not want us on your team, but we're on your team regardless, okay? We're going for you. Whatever, we're for you. Impress them on your children. Talk about them only every once in a while when you have everything figured out. It's not what it says. Anybody here got a spiritual question from their child and they were like, let's call Pastor Jared. It's a true story, right? I got one this morning. Go for Kayla Haug. Jared, I got a question for you on this one. And it doesn't matter if you grew up in the church or not. Kids will blow your mind with spiritual questions. They can come up with all kinds of stuff. You're like, let me get back to you. The kids don't want to hear, let me get back to you. They don't, but it's like, wait a minute, I take your question really seriously, and that's really good. So thank you for the doctoral thesis idea for me there. You know, we have to be ready and have to be speaking into our kids' lives. And so how do we do that? Because we're not in this moment of, let's have Bible study for 1 hour every day. This is not what I'm asking you to do. Because what that does is it makes it more like, now that's not a terrible idea to have a Bible study time with your kids or whatnot, and we can help you figure out what that could look like in your situation. But more of when life circumstances happen, how do we speak God into those moments? That we're always ready, not to like hit them over the head with a Bible. As one of my high schoolers used to say, cap him with a word, and he would whack somebody in the head with a Bible. Don't do that. You know, we're not, but how do we show them God in this moment? How do we point them back to God? Because remember, as we talked about last week, and we're going to rehash these questions all the time, they're asking these questions, whether they're 1, whether they're 5, 10, 22. Who's in charge? It's an authority question. Who is in charge? Who am I? Who am I? Now, at different ages, people are asking these questions at a different rate. When they're toddlers, who's in charge is number 1, and it goes down. When they're middle schoolers, who am I is huge on the list. And what's my purpose? For high schoolers, that's a big deal. What am I going to do with my life? Me just saying, what's my purpose to high schoolers in this room, these people over here just went, I don't know. It's okay. Breathe. I know the anxiety just welled up right there in the Cox twins. They were like, I don't know, I got college coming. So it just happens. They're asking these questions all the time. Who's in charge? Who am I? And what is my purpose? And so when these questions start happening, we have to be aware enough to speak spiritual formation into these moments. Okay? This is what starts to happen. Who's in charge is an authority question. And so how we wrap ourselves around that is we have to ask ourselves, how do I show them God well in this moment? And some of us are so tightly wound, we have so much stresses in our life, we have so many things going on, that it's really hard to step back and start thinking through those questions, right? We just react. Been there, done that, bought the t-shirt. It's not fun. We have to consciously breathe. But Jared, they just wrecked my car. Yeah, I understand. I just kind of want to strangle them. I understand that as well. But what they're asking is this who's in charge question. How do I show them God well in these moments? The question we have to ask when they ask a who am I question is how do I help them see who they are in God? How do I help them see who they are in God? When they're asking the what is my purpose question, we say, how do I equip them for who God wants them to be? Whether that is anything under the sun. There's not a value judgment in that. Whether they're going to be a marine biologist or whether they're going to be an astronaut, whether they're going to be a carpenter, whether they're going to, it doesn't matter. There is like whatever they've been created to do and gifted to do amazing stuff. How do I help equip them to do that? Some of your kids are going to want to do stuff you have no idea what in the world they're doing. Right? Bowen's going to do something with math and be like, proud of you. Go talk to your mom. Right? That's how those conversations are going to go. I don't know, but how do I equip you? How do I help you in that? Consciously asking those questions. When they ask these questions, and this is why it's really important that we slow down enough and be able to breathe through when these questions are asked. Because these questions are asked, the kid never just comes out and says, what's my purpose, Dad? Who's in charge, Dad? They don't ask those questions. They do something stupid. Right? And so when you see crazy behavior, abhorrent behavior, when you see something's just not right. You ever had a kid have one of those weeks and you're like, what in the... Where'd you go? Like last week you were normal. This week, Parents, yes, right? You're like, is my kid watching me? Yes. It was this week, Jared. How'd you know? Right? We had one of those this week, and you can pick which 3 it is. But we had one of those this week. Like, what's wrong with you? And slapping you upside the head wasn't really an option. So what is wrong with you? Because they're asking these questions. And so we have to be ready to start speaking into these questions. So knowing and recognizing that this question is being asked helps us go, okay, what is going on? What do they actually need out of this behavior? That's only available if we have time enough to breathe in that. Okay? They're always reevaluating these questions. It's so important that we point them in the right direction at these crossroads. All right, with who is in charge? I want to break down each one of these and kind of look at toddler stories. With who's in charge, how do we speak into this? They ask this by testing boundaries, especially toddlers, but all ages. So we're going to go with toddlers, though, today. I'm going to try to stay there. Got a lot of funny stories with elementary and middle school and high schoolers, but I got to try to stay with toddlers. It's really hard for me. This could be a 3-hour message today. Kelly's going to kick me. It's okay. She's here. She'll yell at me. They do crazy behavior. And if you've seen a toddler, this is the era of the temper tantrum, right? Because they're like, who's going to be in charge? If I throw this block, you going to pick it up or am I going to pick it up? Do you feel lucky, punk? Right, toddlers, I've talked another parenting thing what was this line? And Josh Walker quotes this to me. We do not negotiate with terrorists. Okay? Because the answer to the who's in charge question with a toddler has got to be, we do not negotiate with terrorists because you may love them and they may be cute, but they're terrorists. And so you have to say, you know what? I'm in charge, and this is what it's going to look like. Remember, we talked about this last week. Lucy's big thing right now, she's always evaluating who's in charge. Who's the boss? Go ask her today. Who's the boss, Lucy? Daddy the boss. Is mommy the boss? Nope. I'm mommy's princess. Daddy the boss. Mommy's princess. Which is okay, right? But that's how she's figuring out the hierarchy. There, boom, 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 boom. No, that's just the way our family is going at this moment. There's probably will change at some point. I don't know if Bowen's above the dog or below the dog, but he's somewhere in that list. But who's in charge? Daddy the boss. And we're asking this question over and over and over again. And so what that looks like in real life terms in my life is Lucy, who is gonna change the world. She's the strongest-willed little being I've ever seen. And I go, and she's doing something. And I go, 1. I got my dad voice. 1. Now, Kendall's already crying. It's not even at her. And she's like, I'm sorry, Daddy. So she's already run up to her room, crying, doing her homework. It's like, babe, I wasn't yelling at. Okay. And then Bowen's like, ooh. So there's that. But Lucy, 1. And I get this look. Like, right? And where Clint Eastwood has showed up. And in my head, I'm not negotiating with a terrorist. 2. And she's looking at me. She's like, what are you going to do? Are you going to do it? Lucy? And for right now, it still works. But she's asking that question. I don't know what I'm going to do when I get to 3. So, I haven't figured it out. So yeah, here we go. 1, 2, and she changes because but you could see it, that look in her eye. Okay, Daddy the boss. Now the unhealthy way, the response to this is to give in. The unhealthy response is to give in because 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 on my counting is not an option. Right? Please, what? 5? Please change your behavior. 6? Please change your behavior. I got you, sucker. Right? It's not gonna happen. The unhealthy response is to give in. The other unhealthy response is to overreact. You will. I give her 1, 2, and now I'm already taking her up, and she's being punished on 2. Whoa! We agreed. We had 3. Right? If I didn't give Bowen 3, he would get in trouble all the time because it's 2 3/4 before behavior changes. Maybe 2 5/8 or whatever is. Is it the same thing? Whatever. Let's go farther. We've joked about math and shut your faces. All right. The unhealthy response is to give in or to overreact. Yeah. So the unhealthy response is to give in or to overreact. Right. And so giving in says, okay, these little things are like crack to a toddler. And it's actually there's some science behind it that their little neurons and their brain waves are being just like, it's bright. And it's the same stuff going. They've brain mapped them. It's the same stuff if you drug reactions happen if the little kid's on a tablet. And so if you want to see a kid throw a temper tantrum, give them a tablet, then take it away. Right? Give a little toddler a temper tantrum. True story. This week, it was the first Wednesday that Kayla Haug watches Lucy. On Wednesdays. It was the first Wednesday that Kinsley and Lucy, my child's name is Lucy, are the only ones there. The 2 older boys were at preschool. And so I'm talking to Kayla and Cody, and we're having a nice little conversation. It's awful quiet. And I walk around the corner. Lucy's got somebody's iPad, like this. And Kinsley's right over a corner, and they're both like, oh, we were so busted. I mean, it's the same look those 2 girls are going to give me for the next 15 years. Like, you are so busted right now. It's like, hey, let's not do this. Because this is so addictive. We went out to dinner a couple times this past 2 weeks, and every table around us, all the parents have given their kids tablets, and some of them even have earphones. And I'm like, whoa. And I'm just going to say, this is a little bit free. It's just a phase. Don't miss it, okay? You're missing a golden opportunity. I would never blame anybody here. You're missing a golden opportunity of seeing your kids, talking to your kids, loving your kids, by putting a screen in front of them I know it's nice to have a quiet dinner, but get a babysitter. In those moments, you have the moment to invest in their lives, to ask about their day, to shoot paper wads at them, to teach them how to pop straws with their fingers and be annoying, build little things with salt packets. Oh, you're not supposed to do that? My bad. I tip really well, okay? So But those are the moments in which you get to do that. Don't waste it by putting on a tablet. Because now this week you're like, okay, well, Jared said take away the tablet. You're going to do that, and it's going to be because it's like crack to toddlers. The unhealthy response is to give in or to overreact. We'll talk about that a little bit more as we go on. Second thing is with who I am. Every name is important. Every name is important. I'll go back to Lucy again and Kinsley again. Kinsley can't say Lucy. She's getting better at it. But she calls Lucy Sushi. And so if you call Lucy, if you go up to Lucy today and say, hi, Sushi, she said, hi, Kinsley Sushi. That's not your name for me. That's her name for me. Then who am I? The names are important. If we go through prayer time at the dinner table, and I pray, Kelly prays, Kendall prays, and lo and behold, we forget Chloe, Missy Fermenti's dog in the prayer, and Chloe. Because every name is important. You guys don't even know that my little 2-year-old's praying for half of you. Every single time we pray, she's praying for you all. We got to block out like 50 minutes for prayer time because it's like, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this. Why? Because knowing and the association of who they are, what is their name, is really important. And so when we deal with our toddlers, they need to know who they are. The idea of shame and guilt are already taking place at about 1 year old. Think about how many people in here have ever struggled with shame and guilt. That starts to reside in people's souls and their hearts at 1 year old. They need to know who they are. We sing Jesus Loves Me every night. Who's usually singing that song with Lucy is hilarious because she's so, and she just makes it up and changes octaves and it's awesome. But she needs to know who am I? Who am I? Who am I loved by? It's important. The unhealthy response is we berate and yell at them. You're this, you're not good enough, you did this wrong. And the other response, the unhealthy response we have, is we say, you're fine just the way you are. Now this matters a lot more in middle school and high school, I think, than in toddler. But we say this statement, you're fine just the way you are, honey. No, you're not. You lied. You cheated. You stole. You're not fine just the way you are. One of the things that sets Christians apart is we're always trying to die to self and become a new creation in Christ. We're not fine just the way we are. None of us. We're all messy. Every single one of us, from 0 to 99. But we're not okay with staying there. You're not broke. You're not valuable. You're still loved. You're still cared for. But you're not fine just the way you are. But we could get in this acceptance mode like, okay, well, you're just fine the way you are. No, you're training your kid to be like, wow, don't do that. There's all kinds of, we just accept stuff that we shouldn't accept. Or we overreact and we berate and yell. This pendulum swinging of emotions that we impart into our kids, it's hard work to be in the middle, to be in the healthy spot. I get it. With what is my purpose? They ask this question by pushing into character questions of who they are. And some of us are motivated so much by fear and character questions because this is the fancy stuff that's on the walls, right? Character questions are, this is who my kid is, and I want them to be this, and I want them to do that. The unhealthy response is we allow too much or we overschedule. We allow too much or we overschedule. And you've seen this, right? If my kid is busy every minute of every day, then they can't get in too much trouble. False. Your kid can find trouble whether they're busy every minute of every day or if they've got all the free time on their hands. Trust me. Right? I think I look back on it and I think my parents put me in swimming so I'd be too exhausted to cause any trouble. Say, I got confirmation of that one. But we allow, sometimes we're just like, okay, whatever. because we still want to be their friend. We don't want to allow things. And it's an unhealthy response. It's not a spiritual formation moment. This erodes character. I missed a very important point, and I'm going to go back through all three of these real quick, because the who's in charge question, when we answer it wrong in unhealthy ways, it erodes authority and who authority is. If we give in all the time to God, or if we give in all the time to our kids, what we're teaching our kid about authority is, if I whine enough, God will give me what I want. God's like, I don't care about your temper tantrum. I created the universe. If we scream and yell at our kids all the time and be authoritative, we're teaching our kids that God is this guy who's looking with lightning bolts ready to zap us. That's not who God is either. You see what that does? Okay. With who I am, if we berate and yell at them, or we say you're just fine the way you are, what we do is we're eroding their self-worth. We're eroding their self-worth. And so this is really, really, really important that we teach them who they are in Christ over and over again. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. God has a plan for you. You are amazing. He thought about every molecule in your body. He loves you. Over and over and over and over and over again. When we do this, also, if we say to a teenager, I'm going to have to repeat this one. If you say to a teenager, you're fine just the way you are, guess what? That teenager hates who they are at this moment, so that's not helpful. Right? No, we can be better. That feels overwhelming. Yeah, but we can still do better. So you got that one for free. That'll also come in 3 weeks. So there you go. It's just too important not to say. With who is my purpose, what we do is we erode character when we allow and when we overschedule. We don't allow them to become the characters that they have, the character that they need to have. Toddlers ask these questions in some very significant ways. Toddlers are always asking the question, am I safe? Am I safe? That's why they ask the authority question. Who's the boss? If daddy's in the house, Lucy feels okay. Right? She's got a whole heck of a lot of I'll do it myself right now. But if daddy's in the house, I'm safe, it's okay. Right? And they're asking that question over and over and over again. They're looking around the room. Am I safe? No one takes attendance better than a 2-year-old. They know exactly who's in the house. Lucy, where's so-and-so? Bobo's upstairs. Where's Kendall? Trampoline, outside, bouncing. She won't say trampoline. That's a pretty big word for a 2-year-old. She knows exactly where she is. She knows where the dog is. She knows everything. Thank you. Am I safe? They're motivated by safety. How do we provide that? We give them consistent boundaries and loving relationships. We give them consistent boundaries and loving relationships. Consistent boundaries. Now, your boundaries might look a lot different than mine. I'm pretty strict. I am. My boundaries may look totally different than yours, but they're consistent. Right? Second thing, am I able? Am I able? Can I do it? This is the question. I do it myself. Toddlers are always asking that question, right? I do it myself. Lucy just now has been able to start opening doors by herself. She's literally opening a whole new world right here. And she's opened those doors. I do it myself. You better not go out a door that she could have opened for you, or you are in trouble, because am I able to do this? Am I big enough? Can I handle letting somebody in and out of my house? This develops confidence. So we start to, hey, you can do this. It's beautiful when Kelly has the moment to put Lucy on the countertop. And this week they prepared 1 billion different sacks of slime or Play-Doh or something for her class in school. And Lucy was a part of each one of them. Now, would Kelly have gotten it done about, I don't know, in 15 minutes if Lucy wasn't a part of it? Absolutely. But those moments of Lucy causing problems and making a mess and doing all these fun stuff, she's nailing it. Because now I got to do it myself. I'll help you. And I'm walking with you in those moments. Preschoolers relate to God by identifying with story. So God's story becomes her story, or his story. So this is how you participate in it. This is how it works. This is how it goes. Third thing is they're always asking the question, am I okay? Am I okay? Am I doing what's right? They need to know what they're doing is the right thing and why. Because they'll ask questions if you weren't aware. They always ask these questions all the time because, am I okay? Am I doing the right thing? Why is that? So if I do that, you can literally watch Bowen make connections in his eyes. He's like, if this is so and this is so, then I should be able to do this and get away with it. You can watch it happen in his face. And I bet your kid's probably the same way. They need to know why they're doing, what they're doing is right and why it's right. And we've got to teach that over and over again. What this helps them do is cultivate self-control. We can do this with the littlest ones by using rhymes and songs and singing to them. Toddlers have the minds of artists, and everything is a canvas that they can paint on. Everything is a canvas that they can create on. And so you have to help engage their senses in this way to answer these questions. Am I safe? Am I able? And am I okay? We have the honor and the privilege to parent kids. And I don't know about you, but some days that is totally overwhelming. Absolutely. Like, God, you got the wrong guy. The responsibility of these wonderful kids you created is too much for this guy to bear. Crazy thing is, God looked at you when he gave you that kid and said, you have what it takes. You can do this. It's like, God, you made a mistake. Nope. And in this moment, in this time, some of you today feel a lot of guilt. And you're looking back at your preschool age child or now your teenage child and what I just said about preschoolers and go, wow, I really messed that up. Let it go. Do better with what you have today. Some of you are empty nesters. You're like, wow, I messed the whole thing up. Let it go. Do better with what you have today. We don't have time machines. We can't go fix it. There's shame and guilt I have with reactions I had when Bowen was 4 years old. Kid doesn't remember any of it, but I am racked with guilt over it. Guess what? Let it go, Jared. Right? You all need to do that as well. Because what happens is it becomes a spiritual anchor that keeps us from being the parents we can because we're so filled with regret. We have to ask for forgiveness of that and say, you know what? I'm going to do better today than I was yesterday. That's how we do that. And in that spiritual formation, in that spiritual change, we actually get to lead our kids in a better and brand new way. So if you're feeling guilt today, make like Elsa and let it go. Oh, I worked on that one all week. She's basically a rock star at our house right now. So we have this honor, we have this privilege, and you have what it takes to be a God-honoring parent. It's an amazing responsibility that God has given us. Pray with me. God, thank you so much for today. And thank you for how you are shaping us and guiding us. And God, as a church and as a people, as a group, we want to bring our kids to you and say, God, help us raise them in God-honoring ways. Help us form their lives in ways in which they will never depart from you, in which they'll chase after you. Their marriages will be shaped after you. Their work environments will be shaped because of you. The relationships with us will be changed because of you. So God, we crave this in our lives. More than we crave success or money or fame or anything like that for our kids. God, right now, I honestly and humbly just want them to love you. And so Lord, if we need to change the way in which we're operating, how we're setting the foundation for our kids, will you show us how to do that? And for those of us that have been racked by guilt, just even in this message, Lord, I ask you that you would release us of our shame and our guilt, that you would forgive us of the stuff that we've done wrong, and that you would help us and give us the courage and the power to be better today than we were yesterday. That how you make all things new over and over and over again. And so God, today we step into a new life and a new commitment of parenting with you as the focal point. God, will you guide us and lead us in that? In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May his face shine upon you all the days of your life. Go with God. Be the best parents you possibly can be today. And I will warn you, your kids will act like crazy people at lunch today just because you learned about parenting all day long today. All right? There you go.
Thanks for joining us at church this week. And a special thanks to all those who continue to support our mission through your generosity. You too can support our mission to reach, grow, and serve our community by giving on the website or through the app. To make sure you never miss out on a message, be sure to subscribe, and don't forget to hit that share button to spread the word. Have a great week.